Hi, everyone. Welcome into another edition of Off Air with Casey and Kristen. Casey, Kristen, thanks again to Food City for sponsoring Off Air Podcast. It is the first week of July. Wow. 2025 is already half over.
That's crazy. It doesn't feel like June especially went by so quickly. I feel like the summer always goes by really fast because we're always like, oh my gosh, it's football already. You know, because as soon as they start like summer or like basically fall practice or whatnot, I'm always shocked by that because it just feels like it goes by so quickly.
Well, we can actually say now there is going to be football played later this month.
Oh,
the Hall of Fame game, the first preseason game of the year in the NFL is on, I think it's on either the 30th or 31st of July. It's on Channel 5 on NBC in Canton, Ohio they play. So that is either on the 30th or 31st of July. So there is actually going to be football on television later this month.
I know you will be very excited about that, and you'll be excited to get back to us.
Preseason.
No, but you'll be excited for us to get back to picking games.
Yeah, picking games.
I know you missed that.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, it was fun. Last year, I think I got you, but it was close.
It was close.
It was very close. You just picked the Falcons too much.
I know.
You need to branch out, and your ace in the hole is no longer here. Our former producer Matthew was who Kristen would go to, and he doesn't work here. But I guess you could still text him and
that's
get
true.
His picks.
I can still phone a friend.
Phone a friend. Who wants to be a millionaire?
Yeah.
Who wants to get their picks right?
Oh, you remember that show? That was a great show.
Oh, I love that show.
That was
with
awesome
Regis and
the
lifelines. And
I always thought, like, what if you like went to phone your friend and they weren't
didn't answer?
Yeah, they didn't answer. That would be all my friends.
That's though. I think they'll have to be the TV. Like obviously that's not live. You know, but obviously we as a kid you don't know that.
Right.
Yeah, it was like they answer the phone every time they call.
Exactly.
You know, it's like probably the real thing is an hour before producers said, "Hey,
your friend has to be on the line."
Yeah, they're going to call you in half an hour. Make sure you answer your phone.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, that was a great show. I love that show. Love watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
That was a great
and
show.
Regis just had that energy and like he just made it a bigger deal than it was even, I think, how he.
Then they got who else did they get? They got a woman to do it, a lady that did it for a while. And I liked her too. I can't remember her name.
I don't remember.
I'll have to Google.
There's only one Regis though.
That's true.
Just like there's only one Alex Trebek for Jeopardy.
And there's only one Casey Getz and Kristen Kwan.
That is true. No one else is doing an off-air podcast that we're aware of, but the names of Casey and Kristen. There may be another off-air podcast out there somewhere, but
not like
not
this
one. Not like this one. So summer, I guess, depending on how you look at it, you know, this is obviously 4th of July coming up, and I always look, you know, 4th of July. A lot of people think that's like the kind of halfway point of summer when you get to 4th of July. If you feel like Memorial Day is kind of the unofficial kickoff to summer. Then you got 4th of July. And then it kind of seems like it, you know, you get into mid to late August, Labor Day, summer's kind of over. But if you go by the calendar, we've had this discussion before, summer just started like 10 days ago. If you go by the calendar, the meteorologists, they go by June 1st was the start of the meteorological summer as they say. So but it is 4th of July. Growing up, I was like, oh, that was kind of like the halfway point of summer.
I've never really thought of it that way, to be honest. But I mean, I guess you're correct in that. I've just never thought of it.
Fireworks,
excited for the 4th.
Was the 4th of July? Was that something growing up, like a big holiday? Did you do a fireworks thing or go somewhere to watch fireworks?
So never yes. There was always fireworks involved in some shape or fashion. I know when I was growing up, I grew up in the military moving around, and usually the military bases, wherever we were located, they always do something crazy for 4th of July. So I always remember like big celebrations like that, seeing fireworks every year, definitely. And then as we got a little bit older, my dad, we would drive into South Carolina because I'm pretty sure they're like illegal in Georgia. So we would just go across the border and get fireworks from South Carolina, and we would shoot them off in our neighborhood because we were kind of out in the country more. So, people wouldn't usually bother us. But that has always been a kind of fun tradition too, is to just do it ourselves. So I have been shooting off fireworks my whole life. You know, you get the kind like in the bottles. You know, you got to get a bottle and put the bottle rockets in there and set them off and then run.
Yeah, you got to practice safety first.
Yeah, and then you got to run real fast.
Yeah.
And I do remember one time, oh my gosh, it was the funniest thing ever. We put one in. I don't remember who it was. I don't remember who did it, but like we put one in the bottle and lit it, and it tipped over and shot right at us.
Oh.
So we were all running, and it was exploding. And my dad was like, "Ah!" It was hilarious. So great memories. I don't really set off them myself anymore, but I do enjoy watching them. What about you?
Yeah, and I mean, about the extent growing up was that ourselves was like the sparklers. I mean, we weren't setting fireworks off in the
You're
neighborhood,
missing out.
but we certainly went to go watch them. And yes, as you get older, you know, for a while there, I guess when you kind of, I don't know, when you get to like those teenage years, or you're like, who cares? Like fireworks, like they're dumb. Like who cares? You know, like they have no interest. And then you get a little bit older, you're like, oh yeah, they're kind of cool
like
again.
this
It's just
again.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah.
I like them, but here's my one complaint about fireworks on the 4th of July is I feel like fireworks nowadays you should just sit back and you should enjoy it. You know, you should just watch and enjoy it. Everyone gets out their cell phones. And I'm like, who's filming that to watch later? You know what I mean? Nobody's watching fireworks.
You don't mean
later
on
their
December
phone.
11th, you're going to be sitting there on your phone being like, wow, honey, remember those fireworks
Yeah,
on the 4th of July? Let's
exactly.
watch those again.
Exactly. Everyone's got their phones out. Go to Anderson Park in Bristol on 4th of July and go watch those people. Everyone's going to have their phones out and they're going to be taking videos. And I'm like, what are you guys doing with those? Like, do you have firework videos on your iPhones from like 12 years? So I'm very pro live for the moment. Enjoy the fireworks, just watch them. Not everything has to be documented.
My pet peeve about the fireworks 4th of July is that it'll be a whole entire week of people shooting off fireworks.
Yeah.
You know, you're trying to get
fun.
some sleep or whatever. I mean, it's like, especially with this year on a Friday, I'm sure, you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you probably got 3 days where there's going to be fireworks.
Need to reel it in.
Yeah, and then it's like, you know, you got the pets, the dogs. Some dogs
Right.
don't mind it. Some
Veterans.
go absolutely nuts. Veterans, yeah, there's things you don't really think about, but
Yeah, it's like be mindful. Just
Yeah.
leave it for the 4th and call it a day, or that weekend, so that
I think
people know.
Saturday. I mean, I think I can see Friday, Saturday. I don't see why you shoot them off on the 3rd, the day before. I
Right.
think I'd allow Friday, Saturday, but then Saturday's it.
But some
Sunday
people
we
are
shoot off
doing them on the
fireworks.
3rd this year.
I
Like the lake, they're doing fireworks on the lake on the 3rd. So there you go.
well, we'll be here,
We will.
so we will be catching those on the 3rd.
Yes. And so, yeah. What about July 4th? How about food traditions? Hamburger, hot dog?
I will never watch the hot dog eating contest because I think that's disgusting.
You've
The
never
Joey-
watched Joey Chestnut?
I mean, I have to I'm like this, like, you know, I mean, but no, I mean, I would never.
I want to see you do play-by-play for the hot dog eating contest. I think you could do that. That'd be great.
That would be, yes, definitely not on my to-do
It
list.
is so gross. Like the hot dogs, like eating the hot dogs. I mean, it's gross to watch because like they usually just like he always eats them with one hand too, and he just shoves it in. But the bun where they dunk it in the water, it's like,
yeah.
ugh.
I'm not a big hot dog person to begin with. I mean, I might eat like 2 a year. I mean, I'm not really a big hot dog person, so it's not really a food I enjoy. But yes, it's just the pure gluttony of that. Like it is disgusting. I have no interest in watching it. So I would obviously always go hamburger, but I think for me the most American 4th of July thing is an apple pie. I mean, I know that's right up there with hot dog. I think, you know, maybe if you say hot dogs above that, I'm not going to argue with you. I know most people think it's a hot dog, but I think to me, apple pie would be like the most American thing you can get.
I think you just want any excuse to eat that.
Mom,
that Mama gets
are you listening?
apple
Yeah.
pie. Though, I mean, you're on to something. Maybe she should come visit this weekend.
Well,
and
we
bring
did
apple
have
pie.
an apple pie not that long ago because my mom was in town. A lot of family was because Kelly had the baby shower
Yes.
like a week and a half ago. So when my mom came down, and that was the first time she got to see our new house, she brought an apple pie with her.
Did
so
you get a piece?
I got a piece, yeah, because there's so many people. Like everybody got one slice.
Yeah. Mhm.
So yeah, I did, but I did have one piece. So yeah, that was very, very delicious. And so it was cool to have, like Kelly's family was in town too, and her friends, and because none of the family had been to our new house yet. So it's kind of cool to show that off to everybody. And then, the baby shower is unbelievable how much stuff you get. I know you warned me ahead of time, and I was like, yeah, well, I didn't really think like, okay, maybe that much stuff. When I walked in, I went just at the very end to be the grunt man, just carry all the boxes out to help. And I was like, oh my gosh.
I told you, people turn up for babies. Like, you think when you get married, you're like, oh, wow, we have so much stuff that people got us. It's so great. And, whatever. And then you have that first child and you're like, it's like double everything you could ever have from a wedding. It's unbelievable. People love babies.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely,
what's not to love?
I think you say comparing the two perfectly said how you said it. The gifts you get for getting married compared to the gifts you get when you're having your first child, it is no contest.
But you will be thankful for those because especially like the diapers and the wipes and things like that, like you'll be surprised how quickly.
Yeah, no, we're getting down to, we're about 6 weeks away now. So it's
6 weeks until Casey is
roughly
a dad.
Roughly 6 weeks.
But and then we're gonna have to discuss what we're gonna do podcast wise.
And we will. I don't know if we should have that discussion right here, right now, but yes, we will have to have that discussion at some point.
I just thought about that. Yeah. Maybe I'll have to zoom you in or something.
We'll see. Yeah.
Maybe that'll be it.
It might have to be just off
air.
Yeah. Off air with Kristen, and maybe Ethan can hop in or something.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a fill in.
That'd be fine with me. It'd be a step up for you, I'm sure.
We'll no.
Someone else in here.
No.
But we got about, but that's the thing. You got all, you're planning, and especially, I don't know, some people are planners, some aren't, but then it's just like you do all this, but then you have no idea when it's going to happen.
Nope.
You have a rough idea, there's a window, but so yeah.
I just remember Kegan, like I would go to bed and your bladder is like 10 times smaller when you have a child. Not really. It just feels like it when you're pregnant because the baby's like weighing on it. And I remember I would wake up. He was working night shift. And I remember waking up and I would like text him because I'd wake up to use the bathroom like every couple hours. And he was like, are you okay? Like he was so like, especially once I went past my due date, like every hour it was like freaking him out. Like he was texting me all the time. I was like, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's the thing. People have been saying, obviously, we get the due date, and then you talk to different people, and they're like, "Oh, my first one was this many days later. My first one was early by." I think more people that we've talked to or I've talked to have said their first one have been as late. But I haven't had a few people tell me their first child was actually early. So I thought the odds were that a better chance it would go beyond the due date, but I have talked to a few people that have said, no, my first one actually came early. So then I was like, oh, well, I guess it could be coming early too. You never know.
You never know. There's all these, old wives' tales too.
We were told back in the very beginning of this process that, again, I don't know if there's what kind of data to back it up, but our doctor said that only 1 in 20 women have their baby on the actual due date, which is about 5%.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, that's one day. I mean, it's like, if you have it the day before, that you're not in that, but that's still really close. But they said it's only about a 5% chance that you have it on your due date.
Well, everything is just kind of a guesstimate.
If it's natural, I'm talking now. Yeah.
Yeah. But everything is kind of just like they're guessing anyways, like the timing, like they don't pinpoint it super.
Yeah. No, they have no way of knowing this is the day your baby's going to feel like.
Yeah. And I've talked to my mom about this before because like when we were born, it was completely different too. Like they didn't have my mom was like, we didn't have all these fancy tests that tells you if you have a boy or a girl. You just had to kind of wait, which is crazy too. So I don't know. I'm really excited though. It's
I know.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's coming up crazy here. So exciting times ahead. We didn't get to do a podcast last week. We were both, our schedules just didn't match up. But we did had a press conference at the racetrack. We're getting closer to the big baseball game, the Speedway Classic, just about a month away now. And so got to see that for my first time. My own eyes got to be in there, what they were doing. They laid down the gravel. I believe this week they were going to start laying down the next level. And then the actual field, I believe their goal was to start next week, laying down the actual field turf. But yeah, it was pretty cool to be in there and just to see what they've done and how much still they have to do in a short window of time.
But they'll get it done.
Oh, they will. Yes. Yeah. There are people in there from Major League Baseball and like the different organizations that are on this project as well. And the one lady that I talked to, she told me that like what they're building clubhouses inside the track for both teams. And they're going to have everything they would have at their home stadium. Like they're going to have a weight room, showers, like coaches' offices, all for one
day,
one game. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That also makes you wonder, like that just to me, I'm like, oh my goodness, the money that they have to spend and like are able to spend too. Like my brain can't fathom that.
Yeah.
How much like they're able to work with.
Yeah. I mean, all like, that is, this is Major League Baseball that's running
right.
the show. I mean, this, the way I explained to me was that they basically are renting Bristol Motor Speedway for this event. Like Major League Baseball is in charge of this show. They're calling the shots. Like they're, so obviously this is not the first time they've done a game at a venue like this. They've done one in Williamsport, the Field of Dreams game. So like they obviously, when they started this, okay, how much is it going to cost? How much are we going to make by doing it? And clearly they're making more than they aren't, or they would not be doing this for all these years.
Yeah, true. But very interesting.
Yeah. So we're about a month out from that. It's exciting. We'll look forward to that ball game. And another cool nugget I was told was that the one unique thing about this game, a non-traditional venue that they've done everywhere else, is that there's only one way in and one way out of the racetrack, so they said that was unique and that there's somebody's full-time job is to schedule all the deliveries that have to be made with trucks because there's only one way in and one way out. So they have to be coordinated. And they said there's somebody's full-time job is just scheduling deliveries for all the things that have to go inside the track.
You know who would be terrible at that job?
You.
Me.
Yeah.
That would be a nightmare. I'd be like, maybe, yeah, you just come on through. Just, I double booked this guy.
Yeah, you'd be like George parking cars on the Seinfeld episode, back and forth on the street when he fills in for the guy on vacation.
I couldn't.
These pretzels are making me thirsty. Yeah.
That'd be me. I'd just be like, just come on. It'll be all right.
We'll figure it out.
I'm not organized enough for that. Yeah. That is not going to be a good job for me. But more power to that person that's going to do that. I hope they're getting a nice salary.
So August 2nd is the game. So it's, again, about a month away. Certainly looking forward to that. All right, Ethan, our producer, come on in here. Let's do our game where we're going to do our blind rankings game.
All right, gang. So today I have drinks, but not any drinks that you've tried on this podcast. So we're going to rank previous snacks that you've done. I think over the course of the last year, I don't think this was just from the memory of what you've done. So it's been the memorable ones.
And these are just drinks.
Just drinks.
Okay.
Just drinks. So the first one's easy. The Sprite and tea you had 2 weeks ago with our boy Eric.
That one was not bad. That was a pretty good drink. I'm going to put that as a number 3.
I'm gonna go 2 on that one. I mean, I think with some of the other things we've tried, I'm gonna err on the side of caution, knowing there's a lot worse that could be coming down the line. And yeah, I like tea. Not a huge Sprite person, but yeah, I'm gonna go number 2. That combination wasn't too bad.
All right, now we've got, I think, the original snack, the Oreo Coke.
Oh, I forgot the Oreo Coke. And we had the zero sugar one.
That'd be a 4 for me. I was not a fan of that. I know, obviously, this podcast is coming up on a year old, so we're having to go back in the memory banks from something we tried, 9-10 months ago. But at the time, from what I remember, I did not like that.
I'm going to agree. I didn't love it, so I'm going to go 4 as well.
Okay.
Next up, we have the Liam Bridgman matcha.
Oh, matcha. I love a matcha. Okay. That's going to be 2 for me.
I'm going to go 3 on the matcha. I think it was – I'd have it again, but I'm never going to run out and buy it. So I think it's one of those that are perfectly in the middle for me.
Okay.
Next up, we have the Patrick Mahomes flavor of Prime, the sports drink.
Yeah. Gosh, that's so hard.
We only have 1 in 5
we only
left.
have one left, and so there's some that I would put as number one that we've had drink wise in the past that I'm like, oh, if I save it for number one. I don't think the Patrick Mahomes drink was that bad to put at 5, so it's pretty tough. But I guess to play it safe, I'll go 1 because it was good, and I would drink that again. So, and I'm afraid of what 5 could be.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you. I'm going number 1 because there's no way Ethan's leaving something good for the last
5.
one. So I'm going to go 1 on Mahomes. I would drink it again, and I would be stunned if what he gives us here is better than that.
So the last one, Kristen might be upset. It's the Sonic drink that tasted like the Harry Potter, the butter brew Sonic, which I think was Kristen's probably favorite ever, if I had to guess.
Yeah, that one was pretty good.
That's an easy 5.
There we go.
It was like the root beer. Remember, I brought the root beer, and you said you like root beer, and I brought those 2 drinks, and you gave it a pretty high score.
I don't recall.
I thought it was going to be like that boba drink that we had with the balls in it. I was waiting for that one. I was like, that's going to be number 5 for sure. Dang it. Oh, well. Well.
I guess if I had to change it, I
drink.
would change 4 and 5. That would be it, though. The top 3 I wouldn't change for me.
I
would put the Oreo Coke at 5 behind the last one.
I would have put Sonic at number 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Casey wins again.
Wins again.
I mean, this is rigged anyways. You're going to pick him every week anyways.
If you would have went the other way.
No, I wouldn't have won. That's not true.
Ethan, if Kristen would have said the Mahomes drink at 5 and this drink at 1, it was her favorite.
Way.
You can't have your favorite drink at 5.
He's never going to pick me. That's the game for him because he knows it makes me mad.
Thank you, Ethan.
You're welcome.
Do we have
a
drink or a food or a snack this week?
We do not have a drink.
Well, that's probably good since we just did drinks. So let's get our snack.
So our snack is a weekly snack, but this is so this only comes out like once a year.
Oh.
So here it is, and it's only for a week. So I had to get it this week, and then it goes away, and then you might catch it again next year. So I've heard of this before because it was around last year, and our good friend Andrew McClung, he is a big fan of this snack, raved about it.
Okay.
So how do you feel about cornbread? What's your thoughts?
I don't mind it. Yeah.
I think we've talked about cornbread on the podcast before.
I'll get in a chair for
so this.
Where do you only get cornbread for?
The crumble cookie cornbread cookie from Crumble. So
this is at is this up near the
Look how pretty it is.
Is this at the Pinnacle?
No, this is
down at exit
7.
7, okay.
So this is the cornbread crumble cookie.
Okay.
And people rave about this. If you want to take the knife out and cut, I like to cut it into 4 little pieces, So this cookie, I'll read you a little description while you do that.
What's in the middle here?
Cornbread cookie smothered with honey butter glaze, then topped with a dollop of thick honey buttercream frosting and a drizzle of honey. And people really love this cookie. This is Andrew's favorite of Crumble.
Okay.
He gets it every time, he says.
But they only do it for 1 week a year.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, maybe twice, but yeah, for the most part, it's like once. And you can only get it for a week, and then it goes away.
Wow.
So I knew there was a lot of things that I wanted us to try, but since this was going away, I figured we could give it a go.
All right.
So go ahead and pick your slice, whichever one you want. You pick the one with like no icing on it. Okay. It's so weird.
I don't know. I don't taste cornbread. I mean, it's just like it's like a sugar cookie.
I think it's like kind of gritty, like cornbread.
I think it's
like close your eyes and take a bite of it.
No, it tastes like a sugar cookie.
And it's like gritty, like cornbread. Oh, it does taste like a sugar cookie though. It's really good. Do you like it?
I'm gonna give this a 7.
Just a 7? 8.5. Really good. I like it. Now this cookie, it costs $4.75, for one.
Okay.
Just giving you all a heads up. I like to give you the price. And it's 890 calories.
But we only get a quarter of it. So divide that by 4, you're looking at like maybe 215 calories we just had for
That's rough,
a quarter
though.
of a cookie. Likely, we have other people here at the station that can have the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
We can share
Or
them
you
up.
can eat the rest.
No, I'm good. I had like 4 cookies before I left on my dinner tonight. I had some Chips Ahoy. I didn't know we were having a cookie tonight.
Well, you never know what I'm going to bring.
No, but I was like, that could have been a drink. So I was like, I was at have some cookies. So I had some Chips Ahoy. This is better than Chips Ahoy.
Yep. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So the cornbread
Are
cookie.
you going to finish your quarter?
Maybe, or maybe I don't want to because the calories. But it is pretty good. Andrew McClung really loves it. I don't know if I go to the extent hype that he likes.
And just while we're on former employees in food, we got to give a shout out to our good friend Jarvis Heron.
Yes.
He has the distinction. Yeah, you remember he did sports here several years ago. He works in Harrisonburg, Virginia, which is the home to the first Buc-ee's in the state of Virginia. Just opened on Monday of this week. Governor Youngkin, was out there for the ribbon cutting. And when I saw that, I didn't even know they were building a Buc-ee's was opening out there until I think the day before it opened. And I sent Jarvis a message and he said, yeah, he's like, it's crazy up here. Like they redid the exit for this. He's like, it's like obviously the big deal. They were covering it like, like crazy. So yeah,
Brisket
but it's
on the board.
It's like right there near James Madison, right off Interstate 81. But it is like 3.5 hours from Bristol. So if you are traveling up that way, if maybe you go to JMU, you have somebody that goes there, or you just drive up that way for work or vacation. There is a Buc-ee's right off Interstate 81, but it is like 3.5 hours away from here.
Get you some beaver nuggets.
And then I did look. There's a second one opening up in Virginia that's slated to open in 2027, just a little bit east of Richmond off of Interstate 64. So obviously, they're going big interstates. We're right off and right on the road there. So there will be a second one I think it's in New Kent, Virginia, which is just outside of Richmond. Will be the second Buc-ee's. We'll see if we get one any closer on the Virginia side. I mean, Tennessee, we have one in Sevierville.
Maybe we could get one, in our area. You never know.
Maybe. If it is the one that just opened in Harrisonburg, it said that they announced it in 2023. I didn't see a month. So, I mean, it takes at least a year and a half, if not to 2 years from when they announce a Buc-ee's is coming until it actually opens. So
it's because they got to put in all those gas pumps and
exactly.
bathrooms.
And they got to redo
and hire a bathroom attendant and
a car wash attendant and everything.
Everyone.
But they pay well at Buc-ee's.
They
Buc-ee's
do.
pays well. So it is definitely it would be a big boost for the economy. But yeah, if you're holding out hope here on the Virginia side,
it's going to take 2 years.
At least from when they announce it. So yeah, not going to be anything in the next, certainly you would think next 2 to 3 years, there won't be any Buc-ee's around here. But
I won't get my hopes up.
all right. Well, we'll wrap it up. So this was our first one for the month of July podcast. And we mentioned we're getting close to about mid-August, late August when we started this last year. So we're about 10 and a half, 11 months old right now. This podcast.
Wow.
We're growing.
We're growing every day.
We're growing every day.
Thank you guys whoever is listening and have stuck with us all this time.
Ashley Hope, her shout out. She used to work here. She said that you saw her recently. She said she watches. So
I saw your mom and your aunt at the baby shower. They're great viewers. Mm-hmm. Appreciate that. Yeah. My mom said she's going to catch up this summer. So love you all.
Whenever you need a nap, this is what you want to watch to put you to sleep. No problem. So thanks again to Food City for sponsoring. Guys, have a great and safe 4th of July, and we'll talk to you next week.